feast begin.
As ashes will be.
What is going on, clan? Welcome to Dark Souls 3 full trophy and achievement guide. In this guide here, we are going to get all of the trophies required to get the platinum, and we're going to do so in an efficient manner, and I've got this all edited down for convenience as well. Now, before we actually dive straight into it, we do have a few things we need to cover because this game does have missable trophies, and as long as you follow the guide, you will have a very smooth time. Now, I do have a build that I recommend most people go with, especially with survivability. I want you guys to kind of level up your stats in the order I have them, especially Vigor. That's going to make you survive a lot of attacks and make the game a bit easier for you. So we're going for a Pyro melee build. At first, we're just going to be a bit more tanky, and then eventually we'll be doing some big dick damage. There are going to be some rings and spells we collect on the way to make ourselves stronger, and these will also make our fire attacks stronger when we do start using those pyromancy abilities, as well as just getting those fire or pyromancy abilities to begin with, so the actual spells. Now, I will sort of touch base on this throughout the guide as well, so don't worry too much about it. Alright, this guide is Missable City Population Us. I'm telling you guys, there are so many things you can miss, and if you just follow my directions, you'll have a nice, smooth journey for the platinum, and that's what I want. I want you guys to have a good time with me and also smash out the platinum trophy. So don't let the missable trophies taunt you. I've got your back. Next, there are boss souls, but I recommend just not using them. Every time we kill a boss, you're going to get a specific soul from that boss that can be used for a different weapon or a different spell. Eventually, there will be something we buy, but other than that, I kind of want you guys to not use them just to play it completely safe. There are some you can use, but again, I recommend against it just to save yourself multiple playthroughs. Now, lastly, there are a lot of Covenant items. Covenants are basically these groups or cults that you can join throughout the game, whatever you want to call them. And there's these things that we need to collect to basically further our faith or our rank within those specific covenants. So again, I'll be touching on this as we go through the guide just to make it very easy to track, as well as when we get to the farming stages in the game. Alright, so now that we've laid all of that out a bit, you can always take a look at the stats if you need to look back at them or write them down somewhere so you don't have to keep referring back to this video. I'll have timestamps in the description for everything as well to make sure that it's very easy for you guys to track everything. I just want to make this super simple for you guys and for us to have a great journey through Dark Souls 3 together. And that's pretty much it. We'll dive straight into it, but if you are new around here,
may the flames guide thee.
now that we're ready to start, you can go ahead and create your own character. You do want to have the burial gift as the fire gem. We're going to use that on our sword to basically have it do fire damage, which is going to come in handy throughout the game as well. We'll also be choosing the knight class to start out with for this. So again, choose the knight, have the fire gem. Other than that, you're free to pick whatever else you would like. Now, I do want to also mention that if you have a friend who can drop you all of the rings, then you can actually ignore all of the rings in this guide, because you can pop the trophy if a friend drops you all of the rings. So again, if you have a friend that can do that, that's perfectly fine. If not, I'm going to show you how to get them all in the game anyways. That way, if you're like me and you don't have friends, you can still get the platinum. So here you go, you can have a look through your menu, your equipment slots, and just get familiar with the game. Pressing triangle will allow you to hold your weapon with two hands. R2 is your strong attacks, R1 for your quick attacks, and you can lock on enemies with the right analog stick. So right here at the start of the game, you're going to go forward, kill through these like kind of newbie ass enemies, you know, just to get a feel for the game. You'll be able to pick up your Ashen Estus flask here as well. After grabbing that, we can just continue forward. Now, I won't be exploring every area and things like that. We're specifically focusing on all trophies and achievements. I'm not here to waste any of your guys' time. We're going to get these trophies and smash them out. You can change your weapon with the directional pad as well as your items. So just a few more controls that you can familiarize yourself with. As you progress forward, you're going to go up this hill and find out your first bonfire. Now, these are essentially your checkpoints. But if you actually rest at this one, you're also going to get your first gesture. Now there is 26 gestures that you actually have to get in the game. You are given a few as default, but there are 26 that we need to actually get for the trophy. I'll be making sure that we grab those throughout the guide, and I'll make it nice and easy to follow. So again, after you get your first bonfire, you can make your way down into this area and then go through the doorway. You don't really have to kill anything. You can just keep rolling by. You get a lot of invincibility frames whenever you roll. This is going to be your first boss. Now you guys will be able to kick his ass, no problem. What we're going to do is we're going to press X to remove the sword. And while he's actually doing his animation and all of that reanimating shit, start beating on him. You can actually start doing some damage to him early on. So if you just damage him a bit, you can see there we've already got a nice decent start. Now again, you want to rely on your invincibility frames whenever you dodge. Getting used to how the combat works in this game will be a huge win for yourself. Whenever you're rolling, you're basically invincible during those certain amount of frames. So just again, practice it. Sometimes rolling towards the boss is really good, or hugging the boss depending on the actual encounter. You can press square to drink your flasks to heal up, but ultimately he shouldn't take you more than a couple tries if you are new to the Soul series. If you're not new to them, you guys will have no problem. But again, we'll just keep attacking him. You can also hold L2 and then R2 to do your special attack. And that takes a little bit of your focus points, which is that blue bar on the screen. But again, it does a fair bit of damage as well, so that might be something that will help you. When he's transforming, you can get a fair bit of hits in him, just like you saw there. And ultimately, even stagger him, and then we finish him off. So that'll be a nice, easy trophy for you guys. I don't see you guys taking too long on that. You guys are absolute beasts. Okay, so after you defeat him, you'll become Embered. And this is for any boss as well. And an Embered effect is basically a small stat increase. So you see your health bar gets a bit bigger and things like that. So being Embered is really good. It makes it a little bit easier because you can take a bit more damage. But once you rest, you can move on through the doorway. And you don't have to pick this up, but you can if you want. We're mainly just going to make our way up to the very top. This is going to be our main hub. So this is the hub of Dark Souls 3, the Firelink Shrine. Now in the Firelink Shrine, there is a few gestures we can actually get here. So upon arriving, you'll just head down here and you'll see the Firekeeper. Now past the Firekeeper, if you go down this tunnel, you're going to see a blacksmith at the end. Now go ahead and speak to the blacksmith. And you can go through all his dialogue options. And before we do anything, we want to reinforce our weapon with the fire gem that we chose from the beginning. That's going to make our sword do fire damage as well, which will come in handy throughout the game. And then we can go ahead and hit talk. And that's going to be another gesture. So again, just go through, hit talk, and exhaust all of his dialogue. Whenever we say exhaust his dialogue or exhaust their dialogue when speaking about an NPC, it means just keep talking to them until they repeat the same thing. After that, speak with this guy here. That's going to get you another gesture, so you should have 3 out of the 26. Okay, after you grab that, make sure you speak to the Firekeeper. Now here's where we can level up throughout the game, so whenever you have excess souls, you can come here, spend them on leveling up and making your character stronger.
Then touch the darkness within me.
What did she say?
You can pause the game here if you need to, do your thing. But basically we can already start leveling our vigor just so we have a bit more survivability. Okay, so after you've done that, we can head to our next area. In order to start fast traveling, we need to create a bonfire here. So just interact with this area right here. And this will create a Firelink Shrine bonfire. So this will be how we always come back to the hub if we ever need to. And this is where you would come for leveling up and some of the other things we need to do throughout the guide. Once you're ready to go to the next area, click the bonfire, head to the Highwall of Lothric, and we can continue our journey. Once you make your way here, you'll be in a circular room. There's nothing in this room. You just want to head forward through the door. Okay, once you've made your way through the door, just head down and you will see a new bonfire. Make sure you interact with the bonfire to activate it. Now here's our next area. We're going to do quite a few things here, so just follow along and we'll make it nice and easy. Okay, so we're going to head to the stairway on our left side. Make our way down. You're going to see all these enemies here. You can just kind of run past them. There's a soul there if you want it, just for some extra souls along the way. You're going to make your way into this room here. If you ever get stuck on an enemy, you can try hitting them or just rolling away. We want to drop down here. You're going to take a little bit of fall damage, but that's not really an issue. You can just keep rolling. Now next up, you want to be quick at this part because the dragon's going to blow fire. He hasn't landed just yet, so if you just run straight up, past the enemies, and then open up the gate, he should kill most of the enemies, but just make sure you're not being followed, as you can see there. Now we're going to kill our mimic, our first mimic here. Now mimics in this game are basically fake chests that will attack you. You can tell that they're fake chests because sometimes you can see them breathing, or you can see that the chain is forward like that one is instead of behind the back of the chest. So go ahead and charge up an attack, and then we're going to slowly kill him. You just want to keep dodging him as well because he can grab you and eat you, which will basically be a one-hit kill. So when he goes to do that grab, just go around him, keep hitting him. Now once he dies, you'll get a deep battle axe. This is another weapon alternative if you wanted to use it over the sword in case you're not too fond of the sword. But after that, we'll make our way up and we'll head through the gate. So again, you don't have to use the axe. It's just something you can use if you'd prefer that over the sword. Now this guy, you can kind of lure him out and then just run away past him. Because if you make your way to the very top of this tower, there's actually going to be another bonfire. Now, it won't let you activate if there are enemies nearby, so you might need to clear out the one that follows you and then activate the bonfire. After you activated it, you can head down here. Just walk off the beam. Okay, after that, when you fall down here and go through the doorway, there's going to be an enemy that can attack you from the side. So just quickly run past. You can just jump down. You don't have to go down the ladder. Avoid that enemy as well, and then make your way to the side of this building. Now right here, you can jump down, make your way down again. And then in this room here, there's going to be a giant knight that will come through the doorway up ahead. He's a little bit easier to fight if you actually bring him outside of the room. And try and bring him out of the room so you're not hitting your sword on the wall. And then once you kill him, you can make your way through here. Now I've cleared all the enemies in here just to make it a bit easier for the video, so you guys can follow along a bit easier. As you can see, there's a lot of enemies in here. You want to really aggro them kind of slowly, otherwise you can die very quickly. As you can see, I was doing pretty bad, so I lost a lot of my health. So we got an Estus shard over here on this anvil, or this table, whatever you want to call it. So make sure you grab the Estus shard and then come down the stairs here to grab a cell key. So you should have got an Estus shard and a cell key in this room. And then after grabbing those two items, we can make our way outside here to the left. You can break through this by just rolling here. And you just want to avoid that big guy. So go this way, avoid the big guy. You can see if he's, kind of near you before you drop down. Because as you can see, I don't have a lot of health. There are some archer enemies here. They're not too bad. You can just quickly take them out. And then make your way up here. And sometimes there'll be another one that follows you up the stairs, so just be mindful of it. So go ahead and take him out. And then after you've done that, there's a ring that we're going to grab. This is one of our first rings that we're going to grab. Again, you can skip this if you are having a friend drop the rings. It's a little bit of a tricky jump, but once you jump, you get a ring of sacrifice. Now this ring breaks upon use, so I wouldn't recommend using it because you need to have all of the rings in your inventory at once for the trophy to pop. So if a friend's dropping it, doesn't really matter. But again, if you are trying to get the trophy, then I recommend just saving onto that ring and just don't use it. Next up, we're going to open up a shortcut just so we don't have to run through all of that in the future. We can just come to this lift and then take the lift down. It's going to make life a bit easier if we have this unlocked. Now again, there's going to be a lot of enemies here. You can either kill them or just run straight to the lift. Okay, so you can kill them or just avoid them if you want to run straight to the lift. Go up the lift, and there's going to be a cell door at the very top. This is going to open a shortcut for us, so that way we don't have to go the long way anymore. And once you're in here, just make your way up the stairs on the outside. So we're going up the stairs. There's going to be a few enemies and some dogs as well, so just watch out for them. But go up those stairs by the shortcut, and then up these stairs here. We're going to grab an item that we'll use later on in the guide. There's a lot of enemies right there as well that I've killed. Again, they're just all kind of grunts. They should be pretty easy for you guys. Grab the longbow and make your way back down the stairs. Now, the stairway up ahead that way is the shortcut to the bonfire. But we're going to go back down the lift. Now, we will be fighting a boss shortly, so you can go to the bonfire if you need to restock on your supplies or get some health back. And then, of course, the enemies respawn, so just be aware of that. But in order to get to the next boss, before we actually go down to his room where we would fight him, you want to make your way past these knights up ahead. I recommend just skipping them, to be honest. They won't follow you inside the room. You can see a doorway's open. Run through that doorway, and they shouldn't follow you through there. But when you speak to the NPC here, you're going to get a trophy. It's for a covenant. Again, we won't really need to know about those just yet until we get a bit further in the guide. So get the banner, and then get the Way of the Blue item, so you can get the Way of Blue Covenant trophy as well as the banner. So after you've grabbed both of those items, we can make our way down here. Again, just avoiding the knights so we can stay at full health. And you guys are going to take on your first actual boss, and you guys will smash it. Run up to the gate to trigger a cutscene, and then we're going to fight Vordt of the Boreal Valley. Now, this boss is easier to kind of go up behind him. As you can see, he's swinging in front of me, so if I'm behind him, he can't really hit me. He does do a charge attack that you can roll towards. I find rolling towards him works better. And there you go. See, see how like you can just roll through his attack. Okay, I got hit. Look, I'm trash, but you guys got this, okay? So you can roll forward, kind of hug the boss to make it a little bit easier. Sometimes you can get the special off as well by pressing L2 and then R2. You can see I did a few of them up his ass right there. Sign me up to be Vordt, you know what I'm saying? Alright guys, so once he's defeated, you're going to get a trophy as well as your first boss soul. Again, I don't want you guys to use these just to save any kind of extra playthroughs. Make it nice and easy for you guys. But after you kill him, go ahead and light the bonfire. You'll notice the gate open in front of you. Before we actually go through that gate, we need to clean up something before we kind of go to the next area. So go back to the tower on the wall bonfire. You'll remember this tower here that we were at before. Make your way down the stairs. We're going to collect another ring in the area before we leave. Drop down. Then drop down again. Watch out for the assassin type enemies that are hiding behind boxes and things like that. They're kind of everywhere, so just be careful. Make your way through the doorway on the left. You'll see this cell area and then a staircase down. Take the stairs down and then you'll find a jail cell. Now we have the key to this door. You're going to open it and speak to this NPC, and he's going to give you another ring. He's also going to go back to the Firelink Shrine, which we're going to need to use a bit later. So grant his request, and that'll give you another ring. Now after that, we can make our way back up to the tower, go to the bonfire, and then go to the Firelink Shrine. We're basically just using the items we have right now, like the Estus shard that we grabbed. We're going to the blacksmith to upgrade our flask. There is a trophy for this, but we will grab these as we go, and I'll have the timestamps again in the description for you so you can kind of go through the video as you please. All you do is go to reinforce Estus flask, and he's going to upgrade that by 1. So next time we rest, you'll see that it's at 4 instead of 3. And you can also allocate your flasks. So if you want more magic ones, you can have more magic, or if you want health, you can do health. You don't really need magic until we actually are starting to use it, so you can go more for the health if you find yourself struggling to survive. Then make your way back to the Vordt boss room by going to the bonfire, and then head outside the gate that opened and press X to raise the banner. You'll have a cutscene and then you'll be at the Undead settlement. You can activate the bonfire that's here and then make your way down the steps. There's another NPC that we want to get to go to the Firelink Shrine, so we're going to talk to him, exhaust his dialogue, and he'll teleport to the shrine. You can just drop down right here if you roll. Just be careful of the 2 dogs behind this wagon. And after you take them out, you can run forward. You're going to see a bunch of these weird looking NPC characters. See how none of them are moving right there? You'll find one that is moving, and you can hear that he's talking to us as well. So he's this one right here. Go ahead and speak to him. It's going to be another case of accepting his request or his service. and then he'll go to the Firelink Shrine. You'll see him warp away as long as you did that correctly. After you've done that, we'll make our way through the front gate. Now, once you approach the front gate, it's going to open automatically. A bunch of dogs will come out as well, so you're just going to have to clear them out. Okay, so once we go through the doorway, we're going to find our last bonfire of this video. I don't want the first one to be too long, just to kind of ease you into the game. And then you can just, continue on to part 2 if you're going to keep going. I'll have all the timestamps in the description, like I've said before, but light the bonfire, and I will see you guys in the next part.